tried some time, and I'm dying to tell you, you blow my mind. I don't know if you know yet, I've realized, and I'm dying to tell you, you blow my mind. You blow my mind. I don't know if you know yet, I've tried some time, and I'm dying to tell you, you blow my mind. I don't know if you know yet, no, I've realized, and I'm dying to tell you, you blow my mind. I don't know if you know yet, I've tried some time, and I'm dying to tell you, you blow my mind. I don't know if you know yet, no, I've realized.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new day of the Galaxy Racer Valorant Invitational India. It is me, Universe, along with Mamba, and we are going to be taking you today's first game. It is an absolute amazing banger as we've got the SEA Qualifiers lined up from the 25th, that is today, till the 30th of October, till the end of this week, and I couldn't be more excited.
Look, we've seen a lot of action in the Indian qualifiers as well, right? Now, with the SEA teams coming up, and some of the best teams in the region as well, right? The action's going to be there, of course. And for all the aspiring professional players who are watching these matches, bring your notebooks out because there's going to be a lot to learn. There's going to be a lot to watch out for. And, of course, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, most certainly. And we are having a lot of commotion happening around the SEA, of course. You know, there's so many roster changes going on and some teams that are going through their iterations of having whether or not they can, you know, get a sixth player into the roster, which has been happening with the two teams that, you know, are going to be facing up today. Let's have a look as we speak about it. It is going to be Fancy United against X10 going up today. It is a big bracket, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to see 8 teams go at it, and we have a lower bracket as well. So everybody's got 2 chances to make this one work. But I'm really loving this set of teams that we're seeing here. How do you feel looking at the bracket right now, Mamba?
some of these names have been around for donkeys years, right? You talk about made in Thailand, you talk about Bleed as well. All these teams are legendary in their own right? They've been around for a while. You've seen these players play in some of the biggest tournaments out there, some of the biggest names in the region in terms of players as well. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of firecrackers for sure. Of course, it's the Diwali season, and I'm expecting nothing less.
Yeah, true. I think that with the way this has been, formed up, this group, forgive me, this bracket looks pretty interesting. Given that we do have a lower bracket as well, I was not really expecting Bleed and Louvre to go against each other, in the first matchup itself, because Louvre again is a team that's had a pretty intense history against Bleed in their past matches, and you've got some pretty interesting teams here as well. Apart from these two, we've got NAOS Esports, we got, like you said, made in Thailand, and of course NAOS. But right now, what we are focusing upon is Fancy United going up against X10. Now, one of these teams is rather more, in the form, I would say. They did have a recent, great run at the previous offseason event, and they did a really good job, to be honest, to get to the finals. And they did lose out against Bleed itself, but they were able to get to that final pretty dominatingly. So Fancy United, they've got a really strong lineup. And X10, again, is a team that hasn't really played in the recent past.
I mean, yeah, if you go by the esports timeline, right? It's not just the recent past, by the way. It's been quite a while, right? 5 months in esports is a long timeline, and you can see a couple of roster changes in other teams in a span of 5 months. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting match because I don't know what to expect. I was going through the data, right, and looking at the veto, it looked like, at least in terms of overall stats, that X10 has the upper hand over here. But then you also need to realize it's a completely different lineup that has not played a single professional match, at least at such a high level, right?
True.
So stats historically does back X10, but then again, it's a completely different roster. On the other side, though, if you talk about Fancy United, they have played 2 out of the 3 maps that are in the veto right now that we'll have a look at. They look pretty strong. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Their ascent is really brilliant, and if it does come in the veto, then I'm gonna be looking at a Fancy take it all, because Yes I Can is a insane Phoenix player. These guys love the Phoenix. They play the double duelist meta, and that guy on the first box right there is an absolutely cracked player on the Phoenix. He knows how to work that agent. And, you add that up with Nizzy, who is probably one of the best aimers in this entire tournament. He is an absolute beast. So the last time this guy played, by the way, he played every single map till the starting of the previous event till the end. And this guy was keeping an average kill count of 21 kills across the entire tournament. 21 kills average. He was a height above literally everybody else.
Oh, absolutely. Like 21 kills every single game is a feat to achieve. It's not easy for sure, but then again, I think the sort of numbers that we've been seeing being dropped in this tournament, right? With Rossi dropping 98 kills in 4 maps, was it? 3 maps? 4 maps?
4 maps, I think, yeah.
4 maps, yeah. And the closest on his team was 48 frags. So it's unbelievable how skilled these players are. And of course, it's not going to be easy to break that record. But I really want to see somebody breach that triple digit and maybe drop a couple more than what Rossi's done. Look, hear me out. Okay, hear me out. Sure, it seems like a one-sided affair when somebody's just as dominant. But you mentioned, right, Nizzy is one of the best gamers in the region, and he can definitely make it happen if things fall in place for him.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think that Nizzy does have this really good ability to, play off of his teammates as well, and to go for those aggressive peaks. He, of course, is the chamber main, the jet main of the team, and Yes I Can as the secondary duelist, makes a pretty good case for, giving that supporting flash when need be as the Phoenix, or, if he picks up anything else. But again, this is a team where they've got actually 3 players who can play that duelist. Now, for example, when we go on Bind, it is Killers who plays the Raze, who usually is the KO main of the team, right? So Fancy United have got a really well synced up roster, whereas on the other side, we've got here a really new roster coming up, ladies and gentlemen. It is Crasania, Meltings, Zeno, Hayes, and San, who, well, I've heard of Cresenia and Zeno before. I've heard Miltings around a little bit, but I've not seen Hayes and San play before. So I'm really looking forward to what these, set of 5 players put together are going to be able to achieve in against one of the most established teams right now in the SEA.
Yeah, I think this team is definitely going to be a dark horse because when I try to dig up stats for all these players, right, it was practically impossible, at least for big tournaments, to find any meaningful statistics for these players. But yeah, no, absolute dark horses. They could have one of those matches where they have the honeymoon phase of playing with a new team, and of course, go out there and dominate the opposition. But of course, we'll have a look at the map veto. We have Minehaven Ascent. First one being picked by Fancy United. Bind, I feel like they have a strong chance on this one because I feel Bind and Ascend are 2 of the strongest maps.
Yeah, I think that, Haven is a map where Fancy aren't really as comfortable. Their recent history on Haven hasn't been really, too kind to them. So the last 3 times that they've played Haven, they've lost it miserably at that as well. They lost against Bleed, they lost against Revenant Esports, and they lost against Alter Ego as well. So it's been really difficult for them on Haven, and I'm actually concerned that X10 could take this to a map 3, pretty easily if it does, if at all Haven is working up to their favor, because letting Haven come into the mix where Fancy aren't really as comfortable, right? Because Haven is a map where you can't play mostly the single duelist, because when on defense, it's going to be difficult to maintain the double duelist, right? And these guys love that double duelist combo when it comes to, push comes to shove. So Ascent, I think we might be end up seeing, and I think Fancy will have a stronger foot there. But Bind, I think, is something I'm going to just throw up in the air and enjoy at first, because I want to see how X10 play, right? I have not seen them play in a long time. It's a new roster. So I'm just waiting to see what X10 can throw towards these Giants. And from there, I think we can make our conclusions.
Fair, but I feel like, at least in the last couple of months, that Fancy has played Bind, right? It's not been a lot in the last 2 months. They've played it twice and they've only lost once.
Yeah.
Or maybe, they only lost once. They actually played it 4 times, not 3. But the point is that if you go by the recent performances, right, along with all the changes that have been brought about, sure, you don't have a lot of data for X10. Fancy United doesn't look the best on Bind, but I would still put my money on Fancy United to take this away 2-1. Haven, maybe it could go either way. But if I had to throw in my hat and be like, hey man, you know what? My prediction, I feel like it's going to be Bind and Ascend going Fancy United's way, and Haven just maybe going X10. So it's either 2-0 or 2-1 for Fancy United, for me personally, at least.
Yeah, I think I would probably say the same. I think X10 coming off that, they're just a freshly molded, piece of bread. So they're going to have some time to soak in the heat of this competition. But all of this is happening while we are having a look at the agent select going up. We can see, yes, I can pick up the Astra. Okay, this is a interesting change. The last time the Astra was played, it not really remembering who it was. I think it was Yes I Can, but this has been a really interesting map for them, given that, Yes I Can is such a versatile player. Like I mentioned, he's a Phoenix god, right? But when he's played that Breach, which he has before, by the way, on this map of Bind itself, I think it didn't really work out that well. So now he's gone under the controller. So basically, this guy can do anything.
Oh, well. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, it's quite different, at least compared to Fancy United, because look, Raze, Sky, Brim, Sage, Viper, it almost seems like a 2021 meta. I'll be honest, definitely seems like a 2021 meta, but no Fade is what I'm really surprised about. No Fade, absolutely no Fade. So double controller, sure, you can go in with an Astra and a Viper, but no Fade is just so...
Choose your agent.
It's catching me off guard, I'll be honest, because the amount of early information that you can get with Fade, right? Is unbelievable.
True. I believe that you can see that the one thing you Fancy are going for is more of a map control kind of initiation, because they want to try and clear out corners with the Breach, of course, who has the map control initiation, and KO, who is the ability disintegration initiation. I know there's a lot of, long words coming out of my mouth, but you get the vibe, right? You get the vibe. It's this KO and breach combo. I really like it. It's really nice. If at all you're attacking A, you've got that stun going, the fault line going towards U-Haul, and then you throw in the knife towards the back of side, disable their abilities completely, make them feel like they're helpless, push them back, and make them completely unable to fight with their utility. And I think that Fancy, what they're focusing on right now is probably going to be their post plan, because they've got a Viper, right? So that post plan utility, we all know how good it is from Viper. She is the lineup queen of this map, and Braze, of course. So I'm expecting a lot of good stuff to come out of Fancy in terms of their attack. But on the defense, it's not that bad either. They've got a Sky, which is again a completely different initiator right there compared to both of the we've seen on Fancy's side, and they have a Sage. Now, that is something that I am, looking forward to how they utilize that Sage, because there's no chamber on either side. So there's no operator functioning man, right? There's no operator functioning agent. So what do you think? Who do you think should pick up, if at all, the operator on both these teams?
None.
None?
Honestly, none. I mean, here's the thing, right? You could opt with any agent that you want, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you also want to make sure that you're creating the most amount of impact. So unless you have a very specific plan, there's no reason for you to pick the operator. And the way these agents have been picked, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like, again, you mentioned it yourself, it's a very map control-ish pick. But, more than the KO Breach combo, I'm excited about the Astra and Breach combo because of the gravity
that as well.
Of course. And the fault line. A lot of things can fall in place. And let's not forget, they also have the Raze available. So that's going to be an absolute nightmare to play against. But of course, Sage is an agent that I've not seen on Bind in God knows how long.
Yeah, Sage is, of course, has been a favorite back when, Chamber did not exist, right? You always had that Sage. You always had her putting up her walls on Bind towards A short, towards Shower, towards hookah, pretty much every single corner you could possibly find. And it works out really well, because you not only, stop the attack from coming in, you slow them down, but at the same time, if you're a follower of Grim, then you know what kind of walls we've seen around these maps sometimes, right? So these players, and I've seen a couple of them. In the South Asian region. I've seen a couple of them in the Southeast Asian region as well, where on Bind, they wall off that hookah place and they sit on top of the wall right outside the hookah window. And they've got a good little, off angle going for them. But I want to see if X10 are going to be able to utilize that Sage to the best of her abilities, because they are going to be facing off against a really, really tough opponent who plays on map control. KO, Astra, Raze, Viper, and Brim. All 5 agents have got so much utility to waste that it will actually exhaust your opponents. They'll think, okay, you know what? Stop this. We're going to go and peek. We're going to stop them. But they'll keep coming at it, because that Viper wall is regenerative. The Astra has got the gravity wall and the Nova. The KO's knife keeps pushing you down. Your ability is not going to work. And that Raze is going to damage you with, her utility. So I'm actually kind of worried for X10 right here.
Imagine the amount of aggression you could show as well, right?
Yeah.
Early map control that you could take as defenders with the sort of utility you have. You have the Gradual, you have the Nova, as you mentioned. You have the fault line, the flashpoint, and of course the plane shells, along with the satchel that Racing used to try and aggress out. At the same time, you have KO to get all the information in the world that you might need. And of course, if they're trying to push in, disable their utility. So the possibilities over here are endless, but of course, the Rays will have to step up and make sure that at least while they're attacking, it enables the teammates to get the control that they absolutely need. Because I feel like Boombot over here, with the sort of utility they have, wouldn't be that necessary, but it of course helps, especially with hookah control, maybe Shard's control, where you just throw the Boombot, forget about it. For a fact there's only 1 or 2 angles that they could possibly be in, the flashpoint or maybe a gravity well. The problem is you still need to clear all the other angles out. Boombot will at least spot them and let you know. Even with KO's knife, right, 0 point. Problem is it tells you, hey, you know what? Within this area of effect, there is a player, but not exactly where. That's where the Boombot comes in. So I feel like it's a very they've come in with a very precise plan on how to use these agents around each other. And if it works out, I feel like we could see a stomping.
Yeah, I believe so as well. We are going to be starting off the game in just a little bit while, ladies and gentlemen. But until then, you know what you got to do. The SEA qualifiers have begun, and there's going to be another couple of days of high octane action. And if you don't want to miss that out, go ahead and follow Galaxy Racer on all of their socials: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. you got it. You know that you're going to get the notifications of some of the best games that are going on. And of course, there's going to be teams that will qualify from here to the big event on 18, 19, and 20th of November in Hyderabad, where we're going to have the biggest LAN that we've seen so far, right? So do make sure you go and hit that subscribe button, follow GXR to get notifications about these amazing matches, because we've got some pretty amazing teams. We've got Bleed, we've got Louvre, all of them coming up today and later as well. So yeah, it's going to be an amazing week. I'm looking forward to it, starting off with this match itself.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. But I'm actually really excited to see this entire group, right? Not just the first two matches, but of course the other matches that we have at our hands. Because I feel like it's going to be such a different flavor from what we've seen in the Indian qualifiers. Because of course, the regional metas that exist as well. When you're playing local tournaments, or at least when you're playing regional tournaments, if I put it in a better way, there's only so many teams you get to participate against, right? Even in open tournaments where you have multiple teams coming in, that we've had quite a few of, it's not always that you get to face off against them, because it's a massive qualifying process. And most of the times, at least more often than not, so the same teams keep playing up against each other. So it doesn't really evolve as much. Like even this first map itself, right? It's so different than what we've seen in India. So I'm just happy to see that there's a lot more flavor. There's a lot more variety to how Valorant can be played. And these teams are going to show us how exactly that's going to happen, especially with this Asian pick that we have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And on Haven, I think that with the way that Bind will go, I'm not quite sure if X10, are going to be taking the easier fight on Bind. Haven definitely is going to be probably a little bit more easier, given that I think they're going to play a little bit more structured. Whereas Bind is a really chaotic map. Those teleporters make it even more chaotic because of the instant rotations that you can, facilitate thanks to them. So I believe that Bind is going to be really Fancy's playground if X10 are not careful, and if they're not able to counter these players, because the amount of utility, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be insanely annoying to deal with. But I think that there is a way they can make this work. It might be a little unconventional, right? But if they hold a judge crossfire on every corner, just saying, just putting it out there. You're sitting in Oka, you got two judges opposite. You're sitting in A Short, you got two judges in U-Haul. You're sitting in Showers, you got two judges right outside. Then I think it's going to be a bit problematic for... Hey, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just...
Listen, you do realize I follow you on Twitter, right? I've seen that clip of yours where you're like, 1 versus 5 match point clutch. Dude literally goes on, uses the judge, the single most low skill gun there is in existence in this entire in this entire game. It's like, you know what, boys, I'm gonna go out there and clutch it. But hey, it was a 1v5. Look, a 1v5 is a 1v5 regardless of what weapon you have and what weapons the opposition has or what rank they are. It's a 1v5.
Exactly. Thank you. It is a 1v5, and just to clarify, I got 2 kills with the judge, and the remaining 3 were with the Phantom, which means you didn't see the entire clip, my friend. Thank you. You follow me on Twitter for this.
I saw the first 2, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't have time for this. Just listen, man. You can't just walk in with a judge and be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna clash this. But regardless,
I didn't have money. What do you expect me to do? I didn't have money.
Definitely won't be taking any financial lessons from you. But jokes apart, right? Look. You could play it as creatively as you want, right? There's one thing I have, at least there's this philosophy that I follow, especially with tactical FPS games. There is no absolute right way to play these games or to play Valorant in a competitive scenario, but there are wrong ways to play it, right? If somebody tells you this is the absolute way to play it, no, something like that doesn't exist.
Sure,
there are fundamentals that you have. You keep your spacing tight. You make sure you get the trades. You make sure you're getting a lot of information, map control. And if you go in as an entry fragger, your primary objective is not to get kills, but to create space for your team to exploit. So a lot of these things, these principles exist, but there's no one right way. So if 2 or 3 judges makes you wins around, look, it might seem stupid on the surface, but if it works, it works. You can't help it, right? So might as well just going with 5 judges for all I care, as long as it works. So sure, you can have 2 judges and 1 in hookah, 1 in showers, as long as you get those kills, man.
Hey, it's not about the fact that it is there, as a meme gun for most of the part, but it's a gun in the game, right? So you might as well use it, right? Because you can see that it's not just that gun. I think even the Stinger right now is broken in the best hands. It's a 950 credits gun, and it can do damage at the range of a Phantom. So
yeah, no wonder I didn't know about that, because my hands are not the right hands for the Stinger. Impossible for me to use. It was insane back in the day before the nerf, but I feel like post nerf, I don't even want to have a look at it. It's just that bad. Gentlemen, Ron coming in X10 Esports, starting off as the attackers over here, and we'll have Zan just holding this angle. He doesn't want to push in. He wants to take it slow.
No, X10 are not really keen on finding information by the utility yet. They're going for contact, and they see that there is Yes I Can towards oh, look at this though. They've instantly waited for that peak, and now they're pushing straight in. That smoke actually helped them out so much. Cresanium will get one, and Meltings gets another as well. I think Fancy's attack has been proven to be kind of on the unsuccessful side, as Showers is now deathbed, and they've got 3v5 in front of them right now, the Fancy players, and they're running straight in towards the B side, where they're being stopped for the moment by Kishi, who is, by the way, the newest player on Fancy's lineup, and he's got a free kill thanks to his Aftershock. He's holding on till his teammates come for the rotation, and they have. Kishi's keeping it real, but Cresania gets one trade back, 3 versus 2. Make that 2 and 1 versus 1! And it's up to 1 bullet each on both of these players, and it's gonna be Fancy! Yes, I can to win that. What the hell just happened? How did Fancy turn that around?
I believe that was a fault line aftershock combo that denied control towards Zuka. At the same time, it got the kill as well. So a lot of control towards Ashar with the TP coming in, and of course the breach holding the fortress towards B with the fault line aftershock combo, which was absolutely incredible because it paid off and got the first pick. Made sure they slow them down to throw the timing off, because a lot of times, right? Yeah. It's not about just slowing them down. It's about buying that extra second or two that is going to take apart their attack and make sure that the timing falls off. So they played it to perfection, and this is the reason why they're playing the sort of lineup that they are.
Well, X10 kind of got taken by surprise there after getting those first 2 kills. They probably expected to take the B side by ease, but Kishi kept them humble. At bay. Now, X10 are going to be taking another slow approach. Every one of their players out in the open towards Showers. Cresania is probably going to be falling to that snake bite. She will finish him up as he softens up. Now it's a 5 versus 2. As Heiza gets a little close towards Ruka, and he's going to be taken out by Yes I Can. 1 trade frag in the form of Nizzy. That's all San is going to find for his team, because he's pretty darn low, and Yes I Can will finish him up. That's going to be a pretty decent round for the side of Fancy. Just lost 1 player. I'm going to be happy with that. And now the first full buy coming in from X10.
Oh yeah, this is going to be interesting to see if Fancy United actually wants to go in for any sort of aggression this time around, because they've saved so much cash, right? If they wanted to upgrade, they can. But of course, they're going to try and go in for that bonus round. Otherwise, it makes no sense for them to just go in and be that aggressive. So I'm really hoping that we get to see some sort of aggression with the sort of weaponry that they have, because that's the best way it's going to work out for them. But that boom ball being taken out of the equation, and the satchels, exactly what I was talking about, right? With the flashpoint coming in, being so aggressive, they might actually find this first big. Oh my lord, no! Wukong turns around. So unfortunate.
No, I think that was his team. I think that was his own team. That was his own team. They took a shortcut.
Never mind. That was so much chaos over there. Never mind.
Oh man, this just, I don't know what the hell happened, but that A-short control is brilliant for them to take the first kill. Now they've disabled one of the main controllers, but things have turned around. The attackers have taken the position of the defenders now as they're going into towards spawn, and this B-Long is going to be attacked by Zeno. He's flashed him up and he's getting to safety. He's got another flash to work with. Playing for a little bit of time here as Fancy are running straight in. They know that there's a guy towards B-Long and they take him out. They're running into it together as a team. There's nothing that the attack can do. Aiza, though, he will find 2 in return, but that's about it. What a weird round this was. Confused Mamba, confused me. It took me a second to realize that it was actually his own teammates as well standing towards that A-short position.
Listen, man, first map, Coffee hasn't kicked in yet, all right? In my defense, Coffee hasn't kicked in, but yeah, no, there was a lot of chaos, but oh boy. So this is exactly what I was hoping for, right? Because Fancy United did not have the best of weaponry to work with, and the aggression that they showed was just what was needed. Because it makes no sense for you to hold against Vandals and Phantoms and all the utility with the Spectre, or maybe with the Bulldog as well. Bulldog, I still feel, is a pretty underrated weapon. But what they did was get map control, get a lot of information, pincer towards A-Shot and Hookah. And of course, because of that, even though they did not get any kills whatsoever, but they managed to get so much information that the retake became so quick and so easy to get that fault line. On contact, that fault line is going to come in. And Wukong, oh my lord! He's going to go in those pain shells, and this is looking like trouble for X10 Esports, no matter what they do. Go around the corner, not be able to blind
One
the
enemy
brim.
remaining.
Oh, the
We'll still find
backstab.
frag. Yeah, the backstab.
Well, Corsania will get him, but Nizzy's there for the trade instantly, and now it is a 1v3 against Meltings, who looking to melt down Nizzy for the moment. Does have a weapon to work with, and his heal should be coming back in just about 20 seconds. But I think for now, his main objective should be picking up that ultimate orb and farming for his ultimate, because he's got a flank coming in, and he's going to have no chance to get closer to that. At least he would be one orb away from his ultimate the next round. Unless he picks up both these kills coming from long. Not gonna happen. Bicho will take him down as Fancy find a 4th consecutive round here. And with such success as well. Pretty great stuff from Fancy so far. Their aggression is working out so well for them.
Oh, yeah. This is exactly what I was talking about, right? Once again, just the sort of plan that they have, the way they've been using their utility, they've absolutely come in with a solid plan because of the way the breach, of course, is being used. Look, 4 rounds, 6 assists already with the fault line and whatnot, the flashes. So breach has been absolutely on point. You talk about Viper, they can slow them down as much as they want, and then you have the KO, which I believe is a secondary flash with the way breach can be used. So you saw how they slow down Sage, right? Once again, when Nizzy threw in that flash, it slowed the Sage down enough where he had to double guess himself and just waited out towards towards B main, and then of course the backstab arrived. So it's not going to be easy attacking for X10 Esports is what we've just realized, because only one initiator with a brim is spelling trouble for them, because with 2 initiators and an Astra and a Viper, it looks like a comp diff at this point.
I kind of have to agree with you, but the problem here is that X10 have kind of gone for a little bit more of the defensive comp, right? Because of course they've got the Sage, Viper, and Brim, which is really defensively, strong. But the problem is their opponent picking this map of Bind, Fancy got to end up on defense, which I'm not quite sure what the process of that was. Because if Fancy chose Bind, then X10 should have gotten the choice of side, if I'm not wrong, right? Not quite sure.
No, can you run that by me again? I'm not quite sure about the question that you asked.
I believe if Fancy got to choose the map, right, then the side of X10 should have gotten to pick the side, right? Yeah, they got to pick the side on the map of their opponent's choice.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember
so
what you're talking about. Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure why Fancy choosing Bind made X10 go for this attack pick, because I know the defense for them is really strong, right? Because they've got the Sage, so wouldn't they want to maybe take the advantage on the defense and then try to turn it around instead of going the other way around and making the work a little bit harder for them, given that the Fancy side is by heritage a really aggressive team, so it's gonna be difficult to attack against them.
Well, that's a question only X10 can answer, unfortunately. But yeah, you see the Poison Cloud going towards short. And Poison Cloud is so damn effective because you can't just push through it. It takes away so much HP. You saw decaying. It's not easy to go through. And Wukong once again just standing there like he owns the place. And now the Nebula will come in. So the way these guys have been playing, right? It shows authority over the opposition. It shows authority on the map. They know exactly what they're doing. They're taking away so much time with these deep smokes that it's impossible for X10 to get any sort of information with just one initiator.
True. That one single initiator, Sky, doesn't even pinpoint locations. It's just, sound cues. here we go. X10 trying to do something a little bit different here towards Showers as they take control with that Viper's pit. This is a pretty interesting one, but okay, Wukong. He just takes out Chrysania like it's nothing. Spams down just a barrage of 5 bullets, and he gets a free kill. The wall's going up from the defense as they hope to revive this member who's fallen. But the wall's been instantly broken, and now the problem is that Wukong's got that grenade, and that grenade is going to be problematic as Kishi actually takes out Heiza towards a short, and now he's going to put down the ultimate towards Showers, and oh my god, Wukong running straight in. We'll take it. We'll take a 1, but not the remaining. 2 versus 2. The plant can go down. X10 somehow still surviving across his entire exchange of fire as Yes I Can and Nizzy are running straight in. A crossfire works in the favor of a 1v1 now. As Meltings is trying to wrap around from U-Haul, but what he doesn't know is that there is a knife available. Now Nizzy knows where his opponent is. No Slorb if at all it does become available to him. He's gone towards short. He's got no utility. Heals himself up in 10 seconds. Does Nizzy expect this a short position is the question. No, he actually doesn't know. He turns around. Now he sees it, but he readjusts, and he does such a great job of flicking onto Melting's head. 5-0. Fancy still not giving up their lead.
Oh, they won't. They absolutely won't. But yeah, he did not expect that copy position because I'm assuming because of the 0 point that he got the information. But Sage played it super smart as well. She realized that no, I need to fall back because I've already been spotted, took a risk, almost paid off. But unfortunately, Nizzy is just better, right? He quickly readjusts, gets that pick, and managed to walk away from that fight. So it works out. It works out in their favor. But of course, now finally we have a tactical timeout coming from X10 Esports because they desperately need this one. They do have the orbital strike available that they can use for an early aggression, but the problem is no amount of early aggression is going to help them because if the moment KO pops a null command, all of their utility is going to be rendered useless.
Exactly, and that one orbital strike is not going to be of any use if you don't have that raise running on the back of it, you know, satcheling in with his Judge or his Phantom, right? So that orbital strike might work for 1, but the remaining people on the team are going to lose their utility, which means the Viper wall will drop, the smokes are not going to come through, the race is not going to be going, and that instant orbital strike will be completely denied by 1 knife. No use, and that is a big problem. And to couple that up with a Viper Spit, which is already available for the defense, which I'm pretty sure is going to go towards a short, I'm kind of expecting the side of X10 to actually change up a little bit of their tactic. Maybe go for a fake, which, by the way, they still haven't done yet completely. Wherever they've attacked till now, it's been a full commitment. And worried that might be the case. They should probably try and sell a fake because Fancy, once they lose a player or see a little bit of attack towards one side, they actually tend to rotate one of their players, expecting the other one to hold the fort, which they do. So that confidence needs to be dropped by selling a fake.
Watch, but they will do that. How do you sell a fake against 2 initiators? Practically impossible. But the satchel being pulled out, trying to get that early aggression going into his elbow with the stinger. But of course, there's no present. But
no,
yes, I can. We'll go out there and get that pick. Now, this was important for them to get shot control, and this is where they're showing the progress. The understanding of the game is just so much more superior than the opposition that it's unfortunate for X10 that they have to be in a position like this. Yes, I can. Once again, peeks around the corner, gets that pick. The spike gets dropped down. It all comes down to Hayes on a stinger. At that range, I don't think he's going to win fights.
Okay, Heiza, I don't know why he's sitting there with a stinger in that kind of range. Okay, Wukong is just running through his own teammates. Aftershock doesn't care as Kishi will take him down towards the other side of U-Haul, but X10, this was a really disjointed, uncoordinated, I don't know what this attack was. They went towards Showers to try and clear out, but I think with the space that they got, I think what they should have done is probably gone for the plant first and then maybe focus on towards Showers. They need that money in the bag, of course, right? So maybe that plant could have given them a little something, at least something to defend. Then maybe focus on your A short and U-Haul control to try and get it because you've got short range weapons. Anyway, we're 6-0 now. And X10, they're in deep trouble.
They are in deep trouble, but look at this. Wukong might just have the perfect angle to hold this off. Only if The Viper decided to walk in, but that didn't happen. And Hayes, Heise, how do you pronounce this?
I think it's Heiza. I'm not quite sure. It's Hayes, Heiza. I think we need to ask him after this game. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Heiza fans and Heiza himself. I'm gonna just call him Heiza for now, as I'm not quite sure what the pronunciation is.
Neither am I. But we'll stick to Heiza for now and figure it out later. But for now, we do have a lot of presence inside Chars. They do have Sky along with the teammate, and they have the ultimate available. So the Seekers can come into play over here, but is that going to be enough? I'm not quite sure. They do have the orbital strike as well, so with information, they could actually combo this, but Raze is waiting it out outside of Ka. He needs to find this fake. Heiser needs to find, but the Seeker is being used to Raze to fake
30
this.
seconds left.
Now Fancy is not going to fall for this. Actually want to go. Oh my lord, no way!
No
for this. And
way.
yes, I can.
Wow.
Finds two important picks, and now they have all the information in the world. They have the phone line available as well, but that is not going to matter because Nizzy is going to shut them down.
Holy
I'll be
damn.
honest. Fancy United looks like they're reading their opposition like a book, but also fundamentally in terms of map control, they're so strong. Map understanding on them has been absolutely on point. Because look, when they tried executing A, they went into shards and made sure if you can't contest A short, go out there, get shard, because you need to have control of one of these two areas. If you end up losing both, then you're in a retake situation. And also the threat of being alive inside shards is so big for X10 that they can't really commit to the side on A. And when they were faking it, instead of falling back, they decided to push Hooker.
Yeah, and this is the problem with having a single initiator, my friends. Okay, Chris. Fischio got deleted towards a short, as with a ghost of all things. As yes, I couldn't even trade it up, and X10's actually got the plan thanks to the showers control that they have. They know that there's always two players playing on it. This is a good from the side of X10. As now, yes, I can still stuck towards his A short position. He's gonna have that boombot cross him, I believe. Oh. It's not gonna check him. And no, it does. Now they know he's there. And stars go falling down as a retake comes in.
Well, doesn't matter if Boombot spots him or not because Steam Words are coming in from there, but the Satchel comes in. But they need to know if there isn't anybody inside Lambs, but Kishi is going to be holding it off. As you find the drop, that is the question. He'll find the first pick, needs to find the second as well. Watching the flank. Probably they might just not have enough time. Do they have enough time? I don't think so.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Okay, I'm not Wukong actually tried to go and stick it, thinking it's probably going to be okay to defuse, but now X10 held that pretty well. Fancy took a little bit extra time to try and secure that defuse. There was a lot of utility. Good stuff from X10, finally switching things up, going for that heavy shower control, pushing a short with a ghost, which actually was a stroke of luck for them that Cresania got that kill there. Fischio just wasn't ready for that kind of a push, and now let's see, you've given up their first round 7-1. It still doesn't go about to say that, you know, X10 are doing a good job. They still have a lot until they can get to that good job phrase.
Turns out Fancy United has taken a tactical time with this run. I'm not quite sure why, but I mean, they look like they're in control of the match, right? So I would assume that maybe just something happened that they need to discuss. Just one of those smaller things that might snowball into something much larger. But at this point, they're in absolute control, and Universe 7-1. Yeah, you never forget that, do you?
Yeah. 2014.
It was 14, yeah. For some reason, I thought it was 10. But 2014, yeah.
It was 14. It was the...
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been 8 years.
Damn.
And we're heading into the next World Cup on the back of that in just a couple
That's one way to feel old, man. That's one way to feel old.
Oh, yeah. 2014.
Wait, aren't you like 24?
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Thank you. That's information that people want.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, the more they know about you, the better it is, because I'm sure I'm sure you have a couple of fans in the chat that would know a lot more about you than is available on the internet. But
yeah, don't make me trip, bro.
Well, X10 Esports, I feel like they might need this tactical timeout more than Fancy United, but regardless, we have a lot of aggression towards B long, and the flashpoint was so on point. This is a reverse. It looks like a dance at this point.
Hey, look at this! Oh, yes, I can get two. They line up for him. Almost all of them do, actually. And now Cresania is actually flanking the flankers. As a Boombot, he's trying to escape it. Oh, but it's watch him out. Now they know there's one behind, but Isaac's taking out Kishi. This is a problem, as a lot of utilities constantly being dumped on them, and there is a person on Heaven as well. So this is a pretty great crossfire, which they're having. Fancy, oh my god, Wukong just swings out and gets one. Missy gets another towards Heaven as well. And now they have a chance to defuse and get the kill. What? Heck, X10, how do you lose that?
Yeah, I feel like they could write a book on how to lose rounds that they shouldn't be losing, but at the same time, you had to give credit to Fancy United. Look, you have to give credit to Fancy United, because yes, I can. Got those two crucial picks that he needed to. Lucky or not is not the point. He did his job over there, made sure that he gets those trades, and Wukong using his utility bang on point, making sure the opponent gets flushed out, uses the paint shell, forces him out, gets a pick.
He just swung out and got a free kill. Like, it was nothing. I don't even think anybody should have been peeking there. They had utility. They had a person on Heaven to bait out that kill. So I don't know why they had people standing out in the open, which I believe was Zeno. You're standing out in the open towards A short. That's not a duel that you want to take against a person who's been really on top of his game today.
There.
But at the same time, you really want to back yourself as well, right? You can't just always keep. You can't let yourself be overshadowed by the performance that the opposition has.
It's like Soa says, right? If you're not a good shot today, there are other ways to be useful.
But who likes the other ways? Everybody wants to be at the top frag.
It's Valorant. You gotta use the other way to win.
Nah, bruh. You just go around popping heads.
Okay. Well, Mamba and I've got two different takes about this game, but Fancy have got one take, and that is exactly actually what Mamba says. That is to go around popping heads. And Fishia's waiting for one of them. Holds them off for a bit with the snake bite, but this actually seems like a bit of a fake, if I'm not sure. The Viper is actually heading towards B, where SIKan's waiting on the other side. He's got Nizzy in support, and who is actually still contemplating whether or not he should rotate. Fancy are keeping this tight as they're actually teleporting away with both their players, and they're gonna get a free kill. Cresania is just completely shocked as to what the hell just happened. Yes, Fischio gets one, and that's about what he had to do there. The revive comes through. It's a 4v4, and there is a good post-line utility available on the hands of the Brim.
Oh yeah, but here we go. Nizzy just waiting it out. Kishi Wukong coming in, rolling into a short, just casually strolling and getting those picks. And look at this. Look at the amount of confidence that they have.
Hello?
Needs to find those picks. Can he find it? I'm not quite sure, but it's arrived longer than he should have. And yeah, that's his movement. He understands the game pretty well. So even though he was not using his movement around so well, that he reached and connect the shots. So
Yeah.
full marks to him for surviving that long, but yeah, you're still losing these rounds, and Bind has just been such a one-sided affair. Look, I did mention that Fancy United looks strong in Bind and Ascent, but this strong, I did not expect that.
Yeah, like I mentioned, right? Yeah, I don't know if you know, a lot of them know, but I actually found out myself recently that Wukong is Killers. He's just changed his name. I don't know for what reason, but clearly he's the one I told you, right? That plays the Raze on Bind. He's a KO main for the team, and they shifted up between him and Nizzy. His impact clearly is impeccable right now. As forgive him, as yes I can. What? Okay, I am totally against Ray's ultimates right now. Even though it killed Fischio, I don't know how it did not kill Yes I Can, who went down to 5 HP, and Heiza, he's just loving this round now. He's taken control of it all by himself, and he wants the ace. I'm pretty sure he's hungry for it. He wants the confidence to try and end this to a 9-3, maybe get that cursed scoreline up for themselves. So it's looking like a possibility. Nizzy spots out one. There's a couple more to go, and Heiza's got 4 though, and Heiza will take the ace. What an ace to get as well. Takes the entry, takes down the subsequent players coming his way as well. Pushes in even after that knife detects him, knowing that, okay, you know what, they've detected me, might as well go forward and take that fight. And he wins it pretty well. To finish it all off, gets the ace, and now they've got 2 pretty good ultimates. The Viper Spit, which is a win condition if Cresania this time doesn't get spammed across and dies.
Well, you need to realize this, right? It's a bazooka, not a nuke. So of course, if you're outside the AoE, you will survive. And to be fair, look, it did do a lot of damage. It's just that was not the best place. But at the same time, I understand your point. It's an ultimate, right? It should be as good as a nuke and be able to get all those kills with the paint shells when you prime it up. The question is, yes, I can go to find those kills. I don't think so, but Kishi and Nizzy, they'll shut them down, and Wukong, oh my lord, with the paint shells is going to find that kill. It's just as clean as it gets.
Okay, then.
At least the round before this was pretty dominant from X10, but then you know what? Fancy was like, we'll show you what dominance is like, and just go out there and absolutely obliterate their opposition.
Wow, that was quite a round, to be honest. Insane stuff from Fancy, just completely taking control. Their sheer aggression is so difficult to handle, especially when you've got a Raze flying around the way that he does, Wukong. Insane stuff. I'm at a loss of words right now. 10-2 is not something I expected, to be honest. I really thought it was going to be a lot closer than this.
Well, honestly, look, I felt like it could have been dicey, right? I wanted to give X10 for credit for being a dark horse that they are, because they've not played together in forever, or at least it's the first big tournament as a unit. But at the same time, you also have to realize this. Fancy has been playing together for quite a while. They've played this map historically, right? More often than not, the data proves its point. The numbers don't lie, and Fancy has been looking pretty solid on Bind. Out of 4 games they've played, they won 3. They only lost 1, which I believe was also pretty close. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. But X10 on the other side, they have no baseline to work with. So
true. This is like a fresh start, completely from ground zero above.
Yeah, so I was saying that, look, this could be a potential 2-1 in the favor of Fancy United, but if this keeps going this way, I'm not sure if it's going to be a 2-1 or a 2-0.
Well, I mean, it does look like a little bit towards that 2-0 if you look at the scoreline right now, but the defense is what I've been waiting for from X10 to see what they can show. But the problem is, I think they kind of tripped over their own feet picking the attack on Bind. Because now they've got such a less, such a less amount of time to work with, because they're at the edge of the cliff. 2 rounds, and it's match point. And those 2 rounds can come from them just losing this pistol, right? So it's a huge task for them to push up this opponent against, themselves, to give themselves some breathing space. And that has to come from that Viper Sage combo. They need to make that work. They need to try and find some good combinations of defensive strategies to get this going. Let's find out if it does end up working out their favor. The halftime pause has expired as we will be heading into this attack of Fancy, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a lot more aggressive than they were on the defense, I believe. But X10, 4 on a short, by the way. This is... Okay, it looks like they're charging up the gun themselves.
They could be the most. Is
Get him.
A mountain fly with a boom bot going into ovation aggressively. They will have some sort of information to work with, but I don't think that's going to be enough because of the fact that we already have players moving towards shards. They have a lot of control, but they might not actually expect the backstab. Oh, now they will.
Oh, wait, Wukong turns around. He gets the... Oh, he's in trouble. He still finds one, though. Yes, I can. He gets a... Oh, come on. This is not happening. X10 are just being out-aimed at this point. 2v3s that they should be winning, which actually was isolated. Yes, I can. Turned around in the last second, and now Zeno left in a 1v3. Yeah, there's about only so much you can do. Fancy. They win the pistol, and I think it might just be a pretty early evening on Bind here.
I like how chill Zeno actually is. He's just casually chewing him, and he's, you know what? It's any other Sunday tournament that I'm playing here, and look, he's looking ice cold, right? Which is great.
I was just waiting to not mention that, because I was like, okay, should I not? Should I just let Mamba do it?
Yeah, let Mamba be the one taking all the flag for mentioning the obvious short thing. But no, the point is, look, he looks calm, which is great, but that needs to translate in the game as well. He's not been able to perform that well. Only has 2 kills to work with. Sure, he's playing Sky. doesn't primarily need to be the top fragger, but of course you need to win some fights, right? He is going for the aggression, but the moment I mention it, Meltings comes in and seals over one more frag, but does get that information, create that space. Ooh, Wukong.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
This guy
he's just death matching this tournament.
Oh, he's loving it. He's feeling his best aim right now. Ficio's taking out Chrysania towards the other side of the map as A Short's been taken control of. It's a 4v2. They can go anywhere they want, but they're actually waiting for these guys to come towards them. And Heiza is going to walk in as every single person on Fancy. Okay, this is just out-aimed, out-moded. Just good night bind. They're going towards Haven, and X10 should be playing this with a 1-0 disadvantage from the beginning itself, it seemed like almost.
Well, you know what this means? This means that I'll have more time between the matches to maybe have a better cup of coffee. They'll finally wake me up. But yeah, 12-2. X10 Esports being
You know who needs coffee right now?
Who?
X10. Maybe you should send them out.
I don't think
I think you need to send them about like.
Honestly, I don't think anything beyond God is going to be able to help them because of the situation that they're in. But Heiza, once again, just being aggressive. He still doesn't want to fall on, but that 0 point coming in, which is going to get destroyed.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Great stuff. Amazing flash to push Chrysania off as well, and he's been vulnerable. This utility user, this is exactly what I was talking about. He's so annoyed, and he gets taken down by Kishi. And I think this is just it, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a pretty quick map. I think it's just been about 20 minutes since we've begun this game. And I think it's going to be finished up pretty quickly. 3v3, actually. Meltings gets down 1, and Nizzy will trade back Sound. We'll take him back. 2 versus 2 now. There is a lot of tension on this A side, and X10 are the ones who are probably going to be able to release it with their check towards U-Haul. Because they actually don't know, because Wukong is right there. The wall comes up for word showers, and this bait of fire will allow Wukong to get in. He needs to go into that smoke. He needs to get a diffuser. Will he get him? No, he won't. There is going to be another round to be played.
Yeah, X10 Esports live to fight another day, but they need a lot more of these days to try and push this to overtime, or at least even think about it. Of course, it's still a long way there, but Wukong just goes in, right? Uses those satchels, and you saw the utility use it that they have. The flashes with the flash out, with the KO, the breach, the gravity wells. Where do you go? There's literally nowhere else to go, and it's incredible to see how Fancy United has been playing. And it feels like it's a professional team. Versus a school football team, the way it's happening right now.
Yikes! Ah, that's kind of the worst thing you could have probably said. X10. I'm pretty sure they're having a bad game, right? But I would love to see them pick it up. I would love to see them pick up the pace, pick up the momentum in the next map. If not this one at least. As Fancy take control of the B side, they've cleared off B long. They've got the entire side covered up. Now it's just one place left to focus on, and that's Spawn, which is again being absolutely imploded. Wukong, he's probably gonna get the final kill with this ultimate. There it comes. 13-3, and Fancy win one of the most dominating games that I've seen so far in this entire tournament.
Yeah, they literally speedrun this map, and I'm assuming if this map is anything to go by, they're probably going to speedrun this entire best of 3 series as well. But I'm not going to take anything away from X10. I feel like it's a team of very high caliber, a lot of potential with these players that they have picked up. But unfortunately, they don't have the history to back it up, at least as a unit with this current lineup. And if this map is anything to go by, they need a lot of work, at least on Pine for sure. Because it's either their worst map or Fancy United just absolutely bang on point with their map picks, and Bind happens to be one of the strongest maps.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that picking attack on Bind when you know that Fancy is such an aggressive team might have been a mistake. I think that they would have had a lot better chance going into the second half if they had picked defense. I think they would have had a lot more time to adjust, right? How to utilize that Sage Well, how to utilize the Viper. But they didn't get time at all. 2 rounds and that's it. It was 12-2. What do you do at that point, right? At that time, you're fighting for your life. You're going to make a little bit of more extra movement to get that map control, to make sure that you don't lose out, right? But if you're on defense in the first half, you've got a Sage, you've got a Viper, you've got a Brimstone, double controller plus a Sentinel like Sage, you have utility to stop attacks, which is pretty great. and you will have time to, settle into that. But unfortunately for them, I think it was a lapse of error in, judgment as to what they thought Fancy were going to do on this map. And now they head into Haven with, honestly, really, really dejected. I'm not quite sure if, the confidence is looming in the best scenario for their team right now.
But be honest, right? You really think it would have made a difference on what side they start on? Because the way Fancy United played, they were prepared for everything. They didn't just have plan A, B, C, D, E, F. They probably had like A1, A2 numbers coupled with the plans that they might have. But at the same time, they didn't need to use it because we saw one proper execute from them. And you just saw what they could do on attack. And I feel like, if anything at all, X10 made a better choice starting off on the side that they did, because if Fancy started off on attack, it would have been so demoralizing because you literally cannot hold against them.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's about adaptability, right? So they had 2 rounds to adapt to what Fancy. Now, Fancy are not going to have, 15 different strategies across 15 different rounds, right? So they're probably going to try and repeat some. They're going to try and hold in some. They're going to try maybe get some picks, maybe, allow their lurkers to go around, Yes I Can and Wukong, right? But they didn't get time to do that. So that's why I believe that on the defense, maybe they could have put up a better scoreline, maybe at 8-4. I'm not saying that Fancy would have not won the attack as well. I'm saying that if the first half would have been X10 on the defense, maybe the scoreline would have been a little bit better for them to, cope up with on the attack. But hey, it's just all hypothetical. What's done is done. We're gonna find out whether or not if these 2 teams will fight off again. If they meet again in the lower bracket or wherever it is, if at all it's in the grand final, if X10 do make it that far, keeping that they lose here, because it kind of looks like they might just be taking a landslide coming down on their faces. But Mamba, do you think now on Haven, which hasn't really been in the last couple of maps, hasn't been that great for the side of Fancy, do you think X10 should be able to take this one?
There is a higher probability compared to Bind and Ascent, but we'll talk about that. Look, let's talk about the map MVP for a change. 353 ACS with Killer, 3 First Bloods, 21 kills, and 86 Econ. I feel like these are good numbers, great numbers as a matter of fact. I feel like we've just been spoiled with the sort of stats that we've seen. But going back to the question that you asked me, right? I feel like Haven is their best bet to try and pull a map off Fancy United, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because look, here's the thing. It felt like they were outclassing every single department possible. Agent composition, outclassed. Team up, you talk about trading, aiming, just in general, overall clicking heads, they got outclassed. Using the keyboard and mouse, they got outclassed. So how do you pitch these 2 teams against each other without the history that these 2 teams might have, potentially? And you try and figure out if they can pull it off. I feel like, given that Fancy United's best map isn't Haven, there is a chance of it going close. But from what I've seen, I feel like X10 would have to challenge some sort of demon inside them to make a dent in Fancy United's confidence and, of course, the scoreline.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what exactly is going to be Fancy United's game plan on Ascent. On Haven, because these guys do play that single duelist, and they allow, I believe, Yes I Can to pick it up. I think he's going to be playing the Phoenix, if I'm not wrong. We'll figure that out as the map comes along. But looking at the current stats of both these teams, this guy Killer is an absolute beast, and he's going to be picking up the KO, I believe, in the next map, or it could be the Breach. I'm not quite sure. We'll find out a little bit later. But everybody on the side of Fancy have got a positive KD. They're putting in the work for the team. Yes I Can and Killer has absolutely tore through their defenses and their attack as well, because it doesn't even seem like there was a difference between the 2 halves. And X10, they've got a lot of work to do. They've got a lot of work to do, especially on Bind. I don't think that they should be, as much as I, would love to see this agent, but I think the Sage is kind of outmoded at this point. Because what actually could have helped them a lot? Maybe if they had an operator, right? I don't know. Nobody picked it up, like you said, the entire game. No one should pick it up. No one did. But if maybe they had somebody playing that operator, it could have made a difference. They would have got the first kills. People who are peeking out towards short, they would have probably got the first kills. But hey, it's all for speculation, as we will wait to see X10 next time on Bayern. For now, we're going to see these two teams on Haven as we take a short little break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Grab your snacks. And we'll be back to find out if or not Fancy United are going to take this with a 2-0. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Valorant Invitational India by Galaxy Racer. As we've got map one done and dusted in a pretty unconventional way, as that we would have expected, as Fancy United beat the side of X10 Esports 13-3, and that is a huge confidence boost for, of course, the former, and not that much for the latter, which now are going to be playing on their map pick of Haven. And Fancy, I believe, are going to be starting on the defense. Yeah.
Well, they will start on defense, but let's have a look at the map picks. We had Bayern, which went Fancy United's way, but X10 is on defense, by the way.
Oh, so, never mind. Yeah.
X10 on defense picked by themselves, and I feel like once again, right, since it was X10's pick, Fancy United went in for attack. It's the same argument that you were trying to make the last time around, right? It's not the best side to start off on, but it is what it is. So once again, right, if Fancy United sets the ball rolling, they have the momentum in their favor, and they start playing the way they did on Bind, especially with the comp diff they had, because I feel like this was also a comp diff on the side of Fancy United. True. Because X10 had no response whatsoever to whatever the opposition had picked. So if that happens again, I feel like this one's going to be even quicker.
Oh, I mean, I would say it's not going to be as quick. I'd say that because Haven is a big map, right? So I think Fancy are going to have a little bit more time to attack, which, by the way, is not their strongest suit, like we mentioned earlier, right? So Haven is a map where Fancy have had not that recent success. Out of the last 6 that they've played, they've only won once. And that is not really the best of wins, against, it was not even against a top tier team. It was against, I believe it was a tier 2 or tier 3 team that they won against. And they've lost in the recent past, in the last 6 games, twice to Bleed, once to Revenant, and Team Secret and Alter Ego as well. And X10, well, they're not currently in the same level as the rest of the teams that I just named, but I'm pretty sure that selecting Haven should give them a little bit of confidence. If not 13, I'm pretty sure it's not going to go 13-3. I don't think it's going to be 13. It's not going to be that low.
Yeah. I think it was a bit of a stretch on my behalf as well to say that, if there is. But then again, it's a lot of ifs and buts, right? If there is a massive comp diff, then they're starting off an attack with a better composition, and then it's just going to be so much more difficult for X10 to hold them off. Sure. And it's Haven on top of it when you're in defense. So it really does come down to if X10 can have the better composition and, of course, set the ball rolling from the first round itself. But while we're talking about composition, let's just hop right into Agent Select and see which agents these teams are going to play. We have a Fade over here for Fancy United, and on the other side, Breach, Soa, Jet, Omen, and Chamber. I feel like this is a pretty conservative approach coming in from X10. It's a pretty solid lineup. I'm not saying it's not a solid lineup, but it really does come down to what Fancy picks this time around, because are they going to go in for a no duelist comp is what it looks like for now.
Well, Fancy might just go for it. I actually thought that they want to play Yes I Can on the Phoenix, but it seems like him picking up that Astra, and they're playing a double controller. Okay, now this is really interesting. They're changing up the complete meta as to what we know on this map. They're going to let Nizzy do the hard work of carrying the first bloods of the team, as he's going to be playing the Chamber, which he absolutely loves. But this is actually really new from Fancy United. They haven't played this before on Haven. The last time they played, they had a Raze in the hands, I believe, of Killers, or Yes I Can. I'm not quite sure who it was, but this is a brand new playing double controller on Haven. I don't think we've seen this at all, have we? Have you?
Not that I can remember. So yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. I feel like double controller is definitely being the flavor of the month, because one of these Indian teams, I believe it was Revenant as well on Bind, right? Double controller, double initiator is what they played. And it feels like this might also be a similar case with the way they've been playing. So they have an Omen, Astra, Chamber, Fade, and what's the last one?
I think Breach. Yeah, Breach. It was Breach. Yeah.
So once again, double initiator, double controller on attack. I genuinely do not know how this is going to fare out, because not a lot of times it's not been a lot of times that I've actually had the opportunity to witness something like this. So I'm pretty excited to see how this is going to fare out. But then again, what X10 has decided to pick is a tried and tested method that works, pretty conservative, but at the same time easy to counter if you've been analyzing their games, which I feel like Fancy is doing with the sort of picks they went for, because it's bold. It's bold to say the least.
Bold is a word that I would say, should be coming out from Fancy in terms of the way that they probably want to take control. Now, I think this is a good, recoup of what they've actually done in the past, because the last time they played on Haven, their map control was a big problem. They used to get the attack, right? They used to get the attack. They got the picks. But after that, when they get the post plan, keeping that map control was a big problem for them, because teams were easily retaking them. And I think this is a measure to counter that, keeping the double controller coming in so that they just don't run out of smokes at all, ever. Because Omen, regenerative smokes, he's going to keep getting it back. So they're going to use him for a later time. They're going to keep him for the post plan, and they're going to make the Astra do the initiation work for the team, along with, of course, the Breach and the Fate, right? So I think that this is, again, Fancy United playing really utility heavy, map control heavy. So I like this change from them. But having no duelist, I think, could harm them in the long way, because attacking C site is probably going to be an issue for them. But that is if they ever go there. What if they choose to not go there at all? Then that's going to be a different, case, because I believe between the last 2 times that they played Haven, they attacked B site 3 times across 15 rounds. 12 rounds. Sorry, forgive me. 12 rounds.
That's an interesting stat that you pulled out. I'm not quite sure from where, unless you have a godlike memory, but it's pretty impressive. I like it. Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
But
I've done my work.
You've done. Oh shit! It's almost implying like I've not done my work. But you know what?
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. No, I'm trolling. Okay, so we've got a Haven map, which I believe Mama's more excited about than me. So I'm gonna let him take the lead for this one.
Yes, I'm not counting ahead. We're draw number 1. Going towards A long, and they have to work with, right? You have a Fade to work with. You also can use the fault line, and then of course the double controllers that you have, and you can. Ooh, look at this. Nizzy might just get. Oh my lord! Gets 1 nails. Oh my lord! Gets 3.
No!
How in the world?
Are you
justify
joking?
Something like this?
Are you joking? This is
you justify something like that? 3 players walking in, not one was able to get the trade. That's just so unfortunate.
Man, I don't know how you even recover from that. If that's happening to you in the first round itself, this is going to be a harsh map again for X10. We're faking the plan, expecting there's going to be a fault line coming in, but Melting, he's got no idea what to do. Got Killer sitting across the smoke, and he's going to go down. Okay, Melting gets another. He's going to be stunned and taken out by Kishi himself, but that corner check, it's such an important corner. How do you not check this? Nobody decided to check it.
Look, that corner, maybe sometimes you can miss out on it, but nobody was even watching Garage. So nobody was even aiming towards Garage. I feel like even if they were aiming towards Garage, right, they would have probably seen him. And this is the reason why spacing is so damn important. You can't... Exactly. You can't be too close. You can't be too far away. It needs to be just right. And they got that wrong. So that's the reason why they couldn't even get the trade. Just imagine if they were spaced out a little more. There was no way in hell they could have actually pulled that off. But for now, they do walk away with the first round. But this brings us back to the discussion we were having off the screen, right? Yeah. Like, regardless of whatever side they would have started on, it's just these little things that Fancy United is so much better at than X10 Esports.
True. I thought that Fancy's going to be, up front and, right on the attack, but it was actually X10 to do that, which I like. I like the aggression that they showed, but, oh, wait, never mind. His gun barrel was seen and Nizzy baits him out. Oh, man, and look at the look on Nizzy's face. He's just like ice cold. Yeah, this is what I do. This is just another day that I just, trolling my opponents. We're fancy. They've got control of the A main side yet again, and no one to defend this A side at the moment. Only one person towards heaven. This is the Sova, Zeno. He's waiting for the players to enter in so that maybe he can have a spam bit of attack. As everyone from the side of X10 is at the moment just going to be held at bay.
I'll be honest, but wait, look at Zeno. I'll talk about what I need to mention about the defense right now, but yes, I can in the meantime finding one for himself. Can he find a second as well? There is a gap in the smoke. Fischio is going to exploit that last person standing melting. We'll try his best to make something out of this, but that's not going to happen either. The point I was trying to make was that, look, if the defenders want to do anything over here, they need to maintain mid control while getting incredible amount of information towards A long and A short. True. Otherwise, there's no chance, because the sort of setup that Fancy United is playing is very contact heavy, very control heavy setup. Yeah. They can fake things, yes. They will always try and go for the first pick without giving away too much information. That's why you need to be proactive on the defense. Get control towards mid, engage them towards mid, get information towards A long and A short, and make sure that in case they go see you're ready for the retake. Otherwise, there's no way in hell you can have anything to work with. Even now, right? Look at them being all huddled up. They will try and get a pick in A. If they can't go in after the first pick within the first 5 seconds, they will fall back. And look at X10. This is exactly what I was talking about. He is on the lurk. We do have the Rolling Thunder available, but are they going to fall back? Are they going to commit to it? They want to commit to it, but there is a backstep coming in as well. That one-way smoke absolutely on point. And this guy just got taken down, but he's aware. He is aware. There is nobody watching the backstab. He could actually find that pick.
Well, now it is a 5v5 retake, and they know that the trap's been broken, so they're going to wait. They're going to keep them thinking about, okay, when is this backstab going to come? Has he actually crossed in towards short? At the moment, they're just focusing on the retake from the spawn side, and Sand makes the first move, gets one. Zeno finds another, jumping down, gets a second as well. Nissi will trade back, and there's going to be trades going back and forth as it is the side of Yes I Can, still keeping alive. A 3k from him, and now he knows it's a backstab. The smoke protects him from A-Long, and the time is working to his favor. It's up to Heiza to try and stick this defuse, which he needs to. And Yes I Can will stop him just about enough. Is it going to be enough? No, is the defuse going to come through? No, it isn't! 87 milliseconds makes the difference for Fancy United.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Look, one player in a copy shouldn't be able to walk away with 2 picks like that, especially in a retake situation. Like, how in the world do you allow something like that to ever happen? You need to get those trades. At the end of the day, look, you can have as many strats as you want. You can have the best composition to work with, but if you can't get those trades right, you can't get the fundamentals right. It's an FPS game. You gotta kill players. You gotta get some kills and pop some heads. Maintain map control and get that back if you've lost it. So as much as I feel, and I'm really rooting for X10 to make a comeback and have a strong showing, so we have a more interesting match at our hands, I feel bad for them. But whatever my words might sound like, right? They're tough, but they're fair. They're a fair assessment of what's happening.
Yeah, I think that both these teams have got really distinctively different playstyles, and X10 actually is kind of around the place. They're playing aggressive, but they're not playing control aggressive. They're playing contact aggressive, like we saw in the pistol round, right? They're just running in. They're walking in from C-Long. 3 players, which is great. Great initiation. You're getting map control. You're getting information. But at what cost is the question? Because if you don't check your corners, which is, like you just said, it's an FPS game. It's basics. You got to check your corners. Then there's going to be no point of you making these movements happen, because they're going to be absolutely useless if one player is able to shut down 3 at a time.
At the same time, they had a perfect flank, by the way, with the Jet on mid and outside.
But he took a little too long.
Yeah, he took a little too long. Once again, like, look, 1 versus 2 fights, players walking away with 2 picks, make it 3. They didn't have the best. It's an equal, sure, understandable, but the point being the same.
It's the isolation of fights, because the person who's supposed to be covering up for that orb should probably be on the left side, right? On the left side, over the left shoulder of your teammate, so that you can actually cover him first instead of him dying first, because he's picking up the orb. And now X10 on this eco are going to be able to, well, at least pick up a Guardian. Forgiven, they're not picked it up, actually bought it in.
Teleport's
all
ready.
Things, which I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to utilize. Zan, though, 6 bullets in his chamber.
One enemy remaining.
Unintended. As Nizzy's taken out San, and with that, the A side seems to be. And even after this, look at how meticulously Fancy are approaching these A side. They're worried about Meltings. They know that it's a breach. He can cause a little bit of damage. They're taking it
30
slow.
seconds left.
But Meltings actually has read this right.
I actually have a different opinion on if they're worried or not. I feel like they're not worried about the breach being there. They're just disciplined. Even though it was a 4v1, they could have run into a site. That's absolute class. That's discipline at work.
Exactly.
They casually look. This is the difference between the two teams that are playing. This is the difference between a good team and a great team, at least in this league, right? Sure, on a global scale, results could differ, but right now, I'm a fan of how Fancy United is playing.
Oh, yeah, true.
The thing that sealed the deal for me was the discipline they showed in the last round. Even though it was a 1v4, they had 4 players. They could have traded them out easily. But the point is, every single gun that you save, every single credit that you save counts. And, well, X10 trying to show some aggression. They do get a pick. But Krasenia is going to get taken out, unfortunately. But San needs to connect those shots. You can't be missing those. Problem with that is going to allow Fancy United to walk in casually towards the seaside and have control of that, even on a full buy round.
The Hunter's Fury is not going to be wielding them anything at the moment, as the plan will go down irrespective. Meltings will probably actually stop it. No, he doesn't. It will just about go down. There's a flash to try and stop this attack from coming in, and there's also a Prowler, and Zeno's found Kishi, but that doesn't matter. They've got the post plan down, and utility is in a lot of abundance right now, both for X10 as well as Fancy. But let's see if they can actually stick this defuse. He's going for it, Zeno. Here comes the defense, forgive me, the attack. Trade comes down, but the half diffuse has to be stuck. They need a peek out, and yes, I can. We'll drop down to the operator. This is exactly what they needed. That operator to sing. And it will sing the sounds of the first round, and this time a little bit sooner than it was the previous map.
Yeah, no. So this, look, it really does come down to fights. Those fights that you win. The operator, Heiza, getting those picks, of course. The diffuser as well, getting that initial pick while diffusing the spike. Got half the spike, got that pick. You gotta win those fights, and that's exactly what they did this time around as well. But there's one more thing that I want to point out. When Krysania peeked out C-Long, right, his teammate was watching Garage. Krysania was all alone. Now the problem with that is, sure, you're showing some aggression, but you're in a one-and-done position, especially while being a controller. You need some backup, or at least make it worthwhile. Make sure that if you're gonna peek that, Wukong slaps Heiza and gets a revenge for the last one. But the point I was trying to make was that even if you walk into a press out, make sure that you dish out a lot of damage, have somebody to back you up. But in a one and done position as the sole controller, it's not the smartest of choices.
Well, that is true. And you do have a double controller, of course, on the attack, so they're gonna have an abundance compared to what the side of X10 have, which they are looking to slowly utilize towards A. They've got 2 ultimates as well. One of them, 3 ultimates, forgive me. One of them is active at the moment. That's Nizzy with the Twitter Force, and he doesn't actually get it. What a shot from Zeno. Just absolutely shuts him down as he throws in the drone, tags one up as well. He's got a shock dart to try and deny that plan from going in a little early. Will give a bit of damage, not too much, as the plan goes down. And that Astro Wall is keeping Fancy safe. Oh man, that crossfire was brilliant. Yes, I can covers up for his teammate, and that smoke is gonna be such a troublesome one because they can spam right down through it. That's a brilliantly placed smoke to give themselves a little bit of uncertainty. You know, when given compared to the opponents, because the opponents now have got like a million different angles to worry about as to who could be standing where, and the opponents, all they need to look at is the dome of the smoke, and they can just flick on because it's that close.
Oh yeah, but at the same time, I'm not quite sure what just happened on the retake, because the moment that Nightfall got used, right, that Omen had been paranoid. I believe he wanted to use a shrouded step across towards Under Heaven. They should have been able to get that pick. So unfortunate whatever happened, but then again, Fancy United winning that drawn from the jaws of defeat and using that Nightfall to perfection. So great to see Fancy United holding the ground. Unfortunate once again for X10. They're not able to close it out, even though they had the man advantage. I'm feeling for them. Honestly, I'm feeling for X10 because there are moments of brilliance where you know that this team has it in them, but they've just not been able to live up to it. They've not been able to deliver it. So Fancy United making most of it. They will not let it slide. Now we have the tour de force coming to the picture from defenders, and you didn't mention that they need an operator or at least a sniper to work with. This time around, this might just be the differentiator, at least in this round.
Yeah, I think that with the operator, which we just saw in that, the first round that they pulled out, he was able to connect his shots. Heiza needs to get a little bit more of a, attacking grip with his operator on the defense itself so that he's able to make an impact for his team. I think he needs to be the player along with the chamber on his team. They've got two operator, users, which is an amazing thing to have on your team, because if you've got two players who can actually make good use of that weapon, then you're going to shut down attacks even before they develop, even before they're able to, get out of their, initiation stage. Because the minute you get that first kill, the attack is going to stop. Fancy are not that crazy of a team that they're going to constantly keep charging at you if at all, a certain round asks for that kind of a strategy. But I believe that the operator is going to be the most important part of their comeback into this half, which already, has gone way past what they would have hoped for. 1 and 5 is, again, synchronizing and synonymous to what we saw in the previous game.
True that, but for now, we'll just wait it out and see what X10 brings to the table once again, because it is a technical timeout. We'll have to wait as long as the issue is fixed. I'm really sorry about that. Apologies from our end, but I hope the audience has been enjoying this. And of course, keep an eye out on the event, the LAN event that is happening. For long, we're going to have a massive audience show up. So really excited for that as well. More than the players and the matches happening on LAN, I'm really excited to see audience turn up in big numbers, because that's one feeling that you can't replicate anywhere. You can have events on LAN without the audience because of the pandemic. I've seen that happen. But trust me when I say this, when you have a couple of thousand people in front of you, it's mind-boggling.
Oh, yeah. And plus, this is going to be, one of those LANs where you've got such a stacked, team composition coming from both SA and SEA, and it's going to be amazing, because I think this is for Valorant. I think this is the first time that the SEA teams are going to be coming to India.
What was the last bit? Can you run by me again?
I think this is the first time that SEA teams are coming to India for a LAN for Valorant.
For Valorant, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so this is a big deal.
It is a big deal for sure, and it's also one of the biggest events. I feel like it's probably the biggest event that this region has ever seen in terms of the prize pool and whatnot, at least at one go. Sure, we've had cumulative prize pools, but overall, is this a great deal for the entire region, not just South Asia, but SEA as a whole as well, because of the fact that India happens to be such a massive place in terms of gamers and all the fans for this game, right? Even yesterday, I was just casually browsing Reddit and the Indian gaming subreddit and whatnot, right? You see so many people playing around. It's just incredible to see. But Fancy United, in the meantime, just getting those picks. Jet being taken down. The operator, as you say, is not singing his tunes because the opposition is just better.
Yeah, fair. Okay, here comes the big bad ultimate. It is going to be throwing Meltings off of his mark, but he's just about safe. No, he's not. I was about to say he's going to get away, but no, he gets spammed straight down across the smoke. That one way is brilliant, as Fancy looking to take their 6th round without any sort of, extra bit of effort. They just peek out towards A-Long, get 2 kills, and the A-Side's opened up.
A-Side has opened up. It is a 2v4, and now they do have the tour de force available. They need to commit to it, because otherwise there's no plan for them. But the tour de force get the first pick. Can he find the second as well? Nope, that won't happen, but the quick trade coming in. But Fancy United, with still the numbers advantage being in their favor, is going to pick this round up once again. 6-1, and Melting's tried his best to hold that off. Gets the first pick as well, but just could not hold it off because it wasn't enough, and the Rolling Thunder coming in as well, forcing them back. Fancy United Esports is looking absolutely on point.
This is a troublesome situation. More than troublesome. To go down to the lower brackets like this would be really, really disappointing, given their return into the competitive scene after so long. X10. They've taken control towards A-Side this time. They're not going to let Fancy, juggle them around like a bunch of puppets. And X10, their control is going to be respected. They're holding it out, and Fancy now going towards B.
Fancy is going towards B, but Wukong in the meantime is going to throw that smoke in. He will get spotted, unfortunately. He will get spotted. Crysania isn't going to miss those. Those are sitters for him, and Fancy United somehow losing control of this. But X10 Esports,
Last player standing.
credit where credit is due. They hold it down like a fortress on B and get all those shots. Heisa as well with the Blade Storm, getting that important pick at the end onto Nizzy. So finally, we see X10 showing some sort of a dominant affair in one round, which is great for the confidence. Hopefully they can carry on with this, because they need to if this map, or at least this match needs to go to a 3-mapper. So Fancy United Esports, sure, they lost that round. They tried to go for a quick execute. But I think they've learned their lesson. They will not try it again.
Yeah, this A main control is probably going to be the most important. I really hope they do it again, because that's exactly what got them this round. Pushing Fancy off of A, because they've got A every time they've attacked. They've been able to get it. This time, Fancy is hitting back with the flash, with the stun, with everything in their possible utility baggage. And they're going to push back this control, as one Jet and one Breach are not going to be... Actually, the Breach isn't even here, so the stun didn't even actually come through. One Recon is not going to stop a team like Fancy from taking control. And now, even though they've dropped a deep enough smoke for Crysania to get in close and up front, Fancy still have 4 players here. And I'm pretty sure that X10 are not too keen on challenging what's on the other end of that smoke until it dissipates away. They clear out that corner. They know that nobody's close by, so they probably want to consider rotating away, because Fancy are, and they're going with the spike towards C.
But this is exactly what I mentioned early on as well, right? That aggression and information towards A helped them so much in terms of getting information control and those initial picks, forcing utility out of the attackers as well, which I feel was so important. But that fault line, I feel like it was a little premature, but this Nightfall is going to be a pain to deal with. They'll have so much information now. Fisher knows exactly where he is. And that is so unfortunate. Yes, I can will fall down. Crysania getting that pick, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
Well, last 10 seconds, the plan does go down, and Kishi, jumps about and loses his footing. Fischio, though, he's coming in for the fight again, and he loses himself as well. I don't know why, but he is the man with the utility for his team. And now it gives X10 another chance to put up the 3rd round, and they will a clean round as well. Nobody lost. A flawless one, and a really much required one. Happy for X10 to try and get these rounds out on the board, which, again, like you mentioned, Haven is their best bet, and they're slowly working towards it after having a bit of a rocky start.
But Fancy United spotting a problem really quickly, and they've called in a tactical timeout. They know exactly what's going wrong, and they will discuss it. But X10 Esports, once again, credit to them. These rounds on defense on Haven are probably as precious as they get. Every single round counts. Every single round matters, and Kawa, I would assume, is pretty pissed about what just happened over there, because, look, you pushed 2 players, pushed Garage one by one, and they both got taken down. So Kawa, of course, showing a lot of emotion over there, but rightly so, right? Because you had control of the side, you had the spike down, you lost 1 player already. You're trying to get control, or maybe you're trying to get a pick towards Garage, but why, once again, go alone? And if you do want to go alone, then at least wait for an engagement, because the moment he started getting on top without actually checking the window is when he signed his own death warrant. Died, his teammate died, and then it was a 2v5 retake, which was just as easy as it gets. No team in the world would probably whiff that.
Well, X10, you gotta be a little bit more control-minded, which they have been for the last 2 rounds, and now they're gonna have a chance to come up a little bit more closer, do better, be better. As Fancy, Arn, and Eco, a hero Vandal on to Yes I Can, and that's about it. Rest of them on Sheriff. So good flash, pushes them off, and Yes I Can still finds one. How is he still alive? He does give more damage, and Kishi couples up on that by getting Crysania. Fancy United.
Fancy United just doing what X10 had been doing the last 2 rounds.
And look at this.
and get those picks. And look at Nizzy just exploiting the opening that exists on C side, and he's gonna have such a wonderful flank to work with, so much information as well. They know Garage might be compromised, but they will get that opening, and Nizzy doesn't want to commit to this fight, does he? Now the problem is that they're making a lot of noise, and Nizzy might just get caught off guard over here, but he's still gonna wait. He still wants to take this fight, but not get taken down. But the Breach might just walk around him.
Spike planted.
And Wukong takes out Zeno. He was probably going to be the one person who could have stopped that plant, but Wukong still gets it. Killer is an insane player, and his aim is just as good. How this is a thrifty round, and one of the cleanest as well. They just like, yes I can. Okay, make that a double. Nizzy will go down, but it doesn't even matter because Wukong is right around the corner, takes him out. What a round from Fancy, and all of this because one flash towards mid, and yes I can got a free kill, and then. For I don't know what reason, they left C completely unattended. Nobody was even worried about it. Nizzy just got through and they got a free plant. How are you giving up that much map control?
That's lack of map awareness on X10's part, and a lot of map awareness on Fancy United's part. Map awareness, map control, both of these things are so important, right? A lot of times you don't need to fire a single bullet to get control of that side, and I believe that smoke is going to be a problem for them to deal with because, look, they don't want to get taken down like that. Crysania in the meantime, ooh, look at this, look at Zeno, he might have 3 frags for himself.
Oh no!
That was unfortunate, that was so unfortunate. But they don't realize, I don't think, they didn't realize. Finally, but, oh my lord, the paranoia is going to be such a big
but
Zeno gets
Zeno!
more. While the Rolling Thunder to push him back is going to be a problem. Crysania comes in, and Wukong once again getting that trade.
Right there.
Still a 2 versus 2 and the defense have got the Breach with the ultimate. I don't know why he's sitting in the smoke when he's got such a good ultimate in his hands, and now Wukong is going to be making use of his ultimate as he goes towards the A side, and he's going to have a free plant. Gets it towards every single possible angle. He has a teleport available to go towards heaven, which he will, and I'm pretty sure that he's heard this, San. I hope he's heard this. Well, he's texted, but it doesn't even matter because Wukong is ready for anything and everything. 8-3, and this could have been an amazing X10 round, but that Breach ultimate threw it off the mark, and this one peak from the defensive Breach, which was melting. He was sitting in that smoke when he's got a Breach ultimate himself, and he's got a teammate alive. It's not like he has a luxury to go out and peek by himself. He's got a teammate. X10, these are just miscommunications happening of the slightest errors that are giving you the biggest of rounds.
Well, these are not just the biggest of rounds. Every single round I've said, right, on defense counts, and you can't be losing these because, look, 9-3 scoreline is not the worst scoreline to work with on Haven, but it's bad when you know for a fact that you're playing against a team of Fancy United's caliber, and that's the reason why I keep saying this. Every single round is so important for them. The fact that they managed to get 3 rounds in that dominant of a fashion, all these rounds were convincing. But the problem is Fancy United always came up with a response to whatever they've been doing, and they started aggressing, they started creating space on the map, and started exploiting it. But look at the Omen now. They have so much information to work with. This is a trap that they're walking into, as a matter of fact. But Zeno, once again, playing from Haven, has the recon dart available that he can use on the execute and easily guarantee 1 pick.
Yeah, well, Nizzy is waiting for that heaven pick, and Zeno, he peeks right out. Oh man, that's a mistake. That they make such good use of not putting the smoke down, thinking that, okay, you know what, they've not put the smoke down, maybe I can peek through. Oh wait, Ice has not been detected, and he gets a kill. He's still alive, and he's keeping himself healthy only for so long though, as Wukong spams him down and finds another on the back of it. And Crysania's backstab has been detected as well. Even though Kishi's gone, it doesn't matter. It's a 1v3. There's only a world where he can win this, and that's probably the most idealistic because when 3 players swing out towards you, my friend, there's nothing you can do. 9-3. You said it's not a bad scoreline. It's not that bad. It is a little bit of problem, but do you think they're going to be able to make a comeback?
Look, do you want the right answer, or at least the realistic answer, or the one that's nice to hear?
You know what? I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say that honesty is the best policy, so I'm just gonna drop that right there.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. But then again, it's Haywin, right? So I will still give X10 a chance for the fact that they might be able to mount a comeback if they can move Fancy United around. But at the same time, Fancy United is not one of those teams which will move around that quick. We saw that on Pine. Forcing them to rotate is not that easy. The one round they tried to fake B and went A short, you saw somebody who was playing inside hookah, instead of falling back to base, they started pushing hookah and they got easy frags for days. So I don't think Fancy United is going to leave as many openings as X10 did on their defense. But if they do manage to do so, X10 has to absolutely be on point and exploit it. You cannot miss a shot, you cannot miss a beat, and you cannot be hesitant on making these decisions. As long as all three things fall in place, then maybe they have a chance.
Yeah, it seems like you're quoting, one of those imaginary fairy tales. There is a chance, but it's like probably the most outlandish chance that you could think about, which I think I have to agree with. Being this down low in terms of round differential, and on top of that, I'm pretty sure their confidence is dropping by the minute as well. I think that they will need a lot more than just a pistol, because the amount of utility that is available now to this defensive side of Fancy United is insane. They have 2 controllers, they have 2 initiators, and they have a chamber. So I'm just going to say X10, good luck. And I really think that they're going to need that breach and jet to work a combo, or else this is going to be an absolute landslide again.
No, it was a pretty interesting analogy that you mentioned before we started off this match, right? I think when we were discussing the last match, right, in the post-match presentation, landslide on a face.
Yeah.
And that's pretty graphic. But the point is, Fancy United, landslide, a train, a truck,
oh my god,
road roller, doesn't matter.
Yikes.
They've been hitting X10 quite a bit, and X10 has not been able to take that pounding. So that's a problem for them to deal with. For now, X10 absolutely needs to be on point with every single decision they make, every single fight they take, and every single bullet that they fire. So the question is, can they make it happen? Pull this back in their favor, or is it going to be Fancy United once again just being that aggressive? Look them on infamy, even with the recon, even with the oh my, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This should not be happening. This is unbelievable. This is bullying at this point.
Wow, that was, I don't even know what the hell happened towards A main there, but look at how quickly this backstab's coming as well. Zan, he's gonna try and go back to actually fight this, but the problem with that is there's a pretty good crossfire setup, which I think Nizzy... Oh, no, never mind. It actually gets cut off, but Nizzy's aim will not get cut off. And he's laughing about it. He loves it. 10-3, but this aim... Fischio doesn't care that he's stunned, that there's a recon, that there's probably going to be 4 people running towards his face. He's got support, he's got utility, and they make it work. Fancy United just do not give a damn. They do not actually care about what or who their opponent is. They will run and they will kill.
I feel like their keyboard only has one button.
Yep.
W and mouse 1 on the mouse. That's all they need, as a matter of fact, from what we saw in the first round. But for now, Kishi is just waiting it out towards B side. They don't have a lot of information. They don't need that much information, but you see the sort of confidence that X10 is playing with, right? They were just huddled up, and now the recon's going to go in. It is going to be a quick E execute, but Kishi, oh my lord, he will get clapped with that sheriff, and are they going to be able to pick up the Vandal? I'm not quite sure, but I think Nizzy has actually gone in and picked up Vandal up to make sure that the opposition doesn't get it. But Wukong needs to find this pick on Chrysania. This is so important, but he's really expecting more there. I'm not sure. He will, as a matter of fact, will get 2 from there.
Gets a double, okay. And they clean it up as well.
Yep.
Well, pretty standard retake. They might have lost the 1 player, which was an insane shot. I don't know how on earth Zeno hit that, but he did. And unfortunately for him, they were not able to pick up the Vandal because it was too far deep in that smoke. And Fancy put up number 11. And it looks like it's going to be another quick afternoon on the map of Haven.
11-3. Had it not been for the 2 rounds that they won by aggressing, right? If they did not change things up, this would have been over by now. They would have only had one round.
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to get I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to hold on to my horses, but it is looking like it's as close as the last game. Sure, now one more round, but Fancy United, even on a map which is not apparently their strongest map, they've been so dominant.
Yep. They've had not that great of recent history on this, but they're still making it work so well. Wukong is going to be holding onto that flash as the minute he does, Fisha is going to be throwing in that seize, and that's a great utility combo to have. And now that they're spotted out Wukong, they're going to try put down a smoke so that he can get away from there, but their original fact of the matter is they're going to hold this down. They're going to wait for them to push this smoke so that he can flash through, and there's going to be a seize combo. He's going to be coming in pretty... Oh, this is going to be a problem for X10. I'm not quite sure they're going to be expecting this. Don't push that smoke. If anybody can tell them right now, just don't wait. Do not go towards A, man. This is going to be a 4v2 that you don't want to fight. Unless you do that.
Well, the fault line comes in at the perfect time possible, but Wukong needs to fall back. The paranoia has all been used. Kishi is going to be taken down as well. So X10 slowly but surely walking into the A side. Wukong still alive. Gets one, needs to find the second.
Spike
Cannot.
down A.
Hyza will clear A short. Make sure that they don't get backstabbed. It all comes down to Astra. Then again, isn't this their bonus round? Is it?
Yeah, this is their bonus.
Yeah.
They are playing on the bonus. So, well, yes, I can. The last man standing is going to be coming in from spawn. He does have a Vandal, so he can play for a bit of damage, which I'm pretty sure he's looking to give. He's expecting one player to be under heaven who's going to give him a free kill. Oh my god, yes, I can. What the hell was that?
All right, then. Yes, I can. Some of these plays,
definitely
right?
can.
No, some of these plays will make me spit my lungs out at some point because you just gasp or you shout. It just comes out, right? You don't want to react while your co-caster is casting, but oh my lord, some of these shots are absolutely insane. And you can only imagine how much time and effort they actually put into this game or practicing in general. But for now, we do have a tactical timeout coming in once again from Fancy United. Kava this time around, though, looks pretty calm, or at least calmer than before.
Well, he is giving them instructions about something, about where they could go or what they could do. Where can you aggress again? Forget that this is defense. Just go attack. Attack, attack, attack. That's all you need to do. Whereas on the other side, Coach Henson probably going to be... he looks pretty stressed. He looks pretty worried. And Zeno, well, that's not Zeno.
Well, for now, all we can do is just wait and see what these players have in store for us. But the unpause has been called in 14 seconds on the clock before we head on to the next round. This time around, though, both these teams will have weapons to work with. Wukong, once again, with the Omen, 18 frags, 6 assists, and 9 deaths. Creating so much impact, right, with all these agents. Again, having no duelist to work with, but Chamber on the other side is probably as duelist as it gets without playing a duelist, right? So, Fishio just waiting it out, but Wukong with the paranoia held up. So they do have a plan. I'm not quite sure if Wukong himself is going to peek this on contact, but he definitely knows there is some sort of movement going outside garage.
Well, the recon has been broken as there is a double mid push coming from 2B and 2 garage. And I think that X10 might have just expected this. So they're going to actually run away towards C. And there's a Nightfall to keep them at bay. Good one actually from the Fade on defense, who will be deafening them for quite a while, as they're still not giving up on the C side. There is a star right in front of them. This is going to be a huge problem for them if they decide to push in. Never mind, it's going to be smoked up. And Fancy's still not giving up on this garage push. They're keeping C on a retake, it seems.
Well, if they do end up playing this on a retake, it's going to be a problem for them to deal with. But, oh my lord, that fault line is going to be a problem. The C's and the reveal going in, but is that going to be enough? I'm not quite sure. Wukong makes his way back. He gets spotted. Oh my lord, gets peeked by 4.
Oh!
Official, what are you doing, son? What are you doing? All the players huddling up towards CE Long, sprays them down left, right, and center, takes him down, and what a round with Fancy United.
Whew, holy damn. That was quite a round. That was just a bottleneck towards that seaside. They took too long to run in, and Fancy were ready. I really thought they're going to play on a retake, but no, they just stopped them. Straight up. Don't even enter that seaside. We will just choke you down towards that entrance. And yet again, they find themselves going towards the same direction. Zeno is going to try and get that kill with the Hunter's Fury while the rest of his team actually runs in. Chaos being driven towards the seaside as Zeno finds Yes I Can. Wukong still alive, not going to be able to reconnect his shots. And X10 will find success thanks to a chaotic Hunter's Fury on the back of their attack.
Oh, Lord. Fancy United Esports. I'm still in awe of the last round, but this time around, though, you had to give credit to X10. The way they played was exactly what they needed. And they will walk away with one more round. They will live to fight another day, and that just could be it, right? Because it's here when they're on attack. They can claw their way back, and I'm sure Fancy might not have the best advice to work with either in the next round because of the amount of cash they would have ended up spending this one and the last round itself. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm assuming Fancy wouldn't want to force because they have so many rounds to work with, right? So might as well just not force and close things out. All they need is one round to work with, so we'll see what happens over here.
Oh my god. They're making sure that nobody comes and take these weapons off of them. But this Hunter's Fury was the win condition for them. It gets a kill as well, which was probably the most important thing, as it allowed the rest of the team to just run straight in that chaos while they were, the defense was running around like a bunch of fire ants fighting for some wood. And now, forgive me, termites fighting for some wood. Right on fire. Are they the same? I'm not quite sure. I need to Google. Are fire ants same as termites? I'm not quite sure.
It's alright. Happens to the best of us. Isaiah, in the meantime, is going to try and push in. He's been pretty aggressive, but the fall line might be a problem. He does dash back, but that's not enough. Wukong goes in, and Kishi will take the meltings as well, and this is a problem. The rolling thunder going in. How do you walk away from so many things? You can't. You just don't.
Oh, that's a brilliant flash. They just know where this guy is, and that's 3 players who lined up, but it doesn't even matter. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Fancy United to take both these maps by such gruesome efforts and such amazing margins. It is insane how good this team is at the moment, and I'm honestly worried for whoever is going to be facing them, coming forth.
I feel like we saw a mix of 2 things. X10 making a lot of mistakes, and Fancy United playing as good as a team can potentially play.
Exactly.
So I feel like the result was a little more extrapolated. Sure, Fancy United is a great team, no doubt about that. X10 made a lot of mistakes, but I don't think Fancy United is going to be just as dominant in every single match possible. The reason being, while they are a good team, while they're getting all the fundamentals right, it's also X10 making a lot of mistakes, and that's the reason why you saw such a dominating affair. So, sure, Fancy, one of the strongest contenders in the team, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of these results coming in from them.
True. I believe that you are, correct on the fact that X10 did make a lot of mistakes, and these margins of defeat are a case of both being on 2 different extremes, right? One playing really good, one not as good today, pretty much on their off day. But I believe that Fancy have a really good game plan, which, by the way, we haven't seen all of. We've seen a couple of set strategies from them, and the rest has just been adjustment factors because X10 were making mistakes. So they were just, running around killing people. So I want to see X10 more in their, full-fledged ability to, play these intense games where it's 9-9, 10-10, and then how they, upgrade, how they evolve. But for now, they've got a pretty great win that they will be absolutely loving. And Killer is, again, the MVP.
Not surprised. Absolutely not surprised, because he's been creating that sort of impact for the team, right? Even in the first map, even in the second map. I believe he was playing the Omen, right? So, 21 kills, 5 first bloods with the Omen. And of course, the
Indeed.
sort of support that he's been providing with the paranoia and whatnot, right, is great to see. And these players are just built differently, no matter what agent you put them on, right? Of course, some agents they excel at, but they do put in a lot of thought and a lot of time and practice as well to practice the comps that they do. A lot of times you will see a no duelist setup, right? And even somebody that does play a duelist, or at least a secondary duelist, falls back onto a support role because that's the composition that you want to play with. So at the end of the day, nobody takes away the sort of mindset that you have while you've been playing a duelist, right? I feel like duelists have this fighter pilot like mentality. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna go in. I don't care. I'm gonna win the fight or I'm gonna get taken out. At the end of the day, it is a game, but I like winning. So they just keep going in head first, and they keep getting these kills, of course, and mechanically as well. They're so strong. But look, as long as it works out, it works out. So congratulations to Fancy United. X10, unfortunate for you. Unlucky, I would also say, for the fact that it was your first match together in a big tournament. And I feel like they will be judged harshly. But at the same time, I feel like that's a good reality check for them.
Yeah, it is. It is a harsh reality check, as the side of Fancy United have just absolutely torn apart their team bit by bit, and this should be something that they really need to consider going forward. Should they change their compositions? What do they need to work on? Maybe focus on a little bit more utility, than aim game, because clearly their aim against Fancy today was not on the mark. And if that's not working, then you got to believe in what you can do in set executes, in, retake executes. What can you do with utility? Because that, I think, is going to be really important for them to focus on. For today, just brush it off. Just think of it as a, bad day in the office. Take your time, settle into your mind. Just take it out of your system, because this loss is going to affect you. I know it's going to affect you mentally, of course, right? Going into the next one, now they're in the lower brackets, and who they're going to face there, you don't know. We're going to find out. But this time, X10 didn't have the best of days. Will they further on? We'll find out, as they will fight for their lives in the lower bracket as Fancy move forward, and we'll be facing off the winner of the next matchup, which is going to be coming soon, ladies and gentlemen, as we will take a short little break, as the next game is going to be taken over by Mamba and Azrai, and I'll be taking a break as the Galaxy Racer Valorant Invitational India. We'll be right back.
time.